Now, someone might object and say, well, that's true. But in this situation with my broken car, I honestly don't care what the theology of the judge is. I just want brother so-and-so to pay to fix it. I just want a certain outcome. I just want justice in my situation. So I'm not concerned about all that stuff. But do you see how that answer, that objection, fails to account for who we are in Christ? Can the Christian ever say, this is just a lawsuit. This has nothing to do with Christ. I'm not concerned about theology with this. I'm not concerned about the glory of Christ here. I just want justice according to the letter of the law. That's all I care about. If we're not concerned about the glory of Christ in a matter in the church, are we not off on the wrong foot to begin with? If the only concern we have is that our rights are upheld, rather than ensuring that the grace and love of Christ and the humility of Christ and the forgiveness of Christ and the righteousness of Christ and so on are applied to our situation biblically, perhaps we need to reevaluate what it means when we say that we are in Christ. You see, Paul is reminding us that there are no secular matters in that sense. That there's no such thing as just a legal matter for a Christian. Everything is spiritual. Everything is related to who we are in Christ. And who we are in Christ should impact everything in our lives. There is nothing in our lives where we say, that's off limits from my new creation, who I am in Jesus Christ. That, my salvation has nothing to do with that issue. There's no issues like that. There must be a greater concern than simply, I want what's coming to me in this particular instance. And those greater concerns to the Christian are always outside the scope of what an unbelieving judge can factor into his decision. He doesn't think that way. He's unable to reason that way. Now, sure, it's true, perhaps, that according to the letter of the law, an unbelieving judge might do a better job of applying civil law to my case than a group of leaders in my church. That's true. Get the lawyers, get the judges. You may get a better settlement according to the laws of the state of Arizona from people who are experts in those laws than you will get from elders who are engineers and teachers and pastors and so on. But is the letter of the civil law your highest concern as a Christian? Is that what's most important? You see, Paul is putting his finger on a problem that is very real in the hearts of Christians today as it was then. And it's that we often put a higher priority on earthly rights and possessions than we do on biblical principles and eternal values. If we are truly people from another world, if we are those who are the temple of the living God, indwelled by the Spirit of God, living in the wisdom of God, would we want to bring our disputes to be settled by people who embraced the wisdom of the world that led them to crucify the Lord of glory? When we think about how the unbeliever reasons, we understand he can't think through our disputes at the most profound level. And so Paul is shocked and outraged that the Corinthians, who one day will sit in judgment on unbelieving judges, want unbelieving judges to sit in judgment on them. Why would you choose that? Why would you do that? Is your greatest concern the same thing that their greatest concern is? Or as a Christian, is there something greater than this damaged vehicle or this financial loss that concerns you?